back with another one. This one is not a music video reaction, but rather just like, a real life or a social issue. So the past week or so, there's been a trending topic, amongst the diaspora. So this topic has been about, like there's a lady that made a video. I forget where she is. I think the US or UK, somewhere there. But yeah, she made a video about how she would not send any money back home, back to Africa, that is. So yeah, and I guess it's 50-50. There's people that agree with her and there's people that don't agree with her, right? And I can see an argument for both sides. But me being part of the diaspora community, right, I can relate. And so I just thought I also like share my opinions about it and a few thoughts based on my experience. I'm not speaking for anybody. I'm not speaking against anybody. I'm not speaking about anybody specifically. So it's just me just sharing my thoughts. I've been in the diaspora for a while, so I think my opinions and thoughts are valid. So what she was saying, she was basically saying, stuff like how us people in the diaspora keep sending all this money back home to friends and family, and we're basically funding their lifestyles. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with sending money back home, right? Every now and then, when you have it, yeah, like you have those people that are close to you, loved ones, family members, your parents, grandparents. Like for me, I have my grandmother back home, uncles, aunties, cousins, friends, young sister, father. So yeah, here and there, I find myself sending money back home, right? And that's not a problem to me. It only becomes a problem when people just keep coming back and coming back and coming back, keep asking you for money. And a lot of times people don't even ask you how you're doing. It might be like, hey, oh, hey, hello, how are you? And I even know, a lot of times I even make a bet with myself, like I can bet $50 to myself that this person is going to ask me for money. And 9 out of 10 times, I'm always right. So yeah, it'll be like, hey, hello. And I'll be like, hey, how you doing? They'll respond like, oh, I'm good. But there's always like a but. Things are bad. Money is tight. The economy is bad. As if the economy in the Western world is like perfect, because everybody just thinks once you're in the States, here in the UK, Europe, it's happening for you. Money is just like everywhere. And even though it's easier to come across money, because just like any type of job, you could come across a decent amount of money, but it always finds its way to go back into back to the system. You can get $1,000, but you find yourself spending close to $1,000 just on upkeep, bills. You need to entertain yourself. You need clothing. You need food. So at the end of the day, you find that $1,000, you're only left maybe 100 or 2 when it's all said and done. But the problem with people back home, and not just Africa, like anywhere that's considered third world country, right? South America, Latin America, the Caribbean, and Africa. These, our people always look at the exchange rates, right? Even more than us that are out here getting the actual foreign currency. So they look at the rates and they know, the dollar is at this much to the local currency. Like for our currency, it's the kwacha. Right now, $1 is equivalent to 22 Zambian kwacha. A week ago, it was like 27, which is like one of the highest it's ever been. So, somebody can just come to you and like, I have people like just asking me for like, yo, just $10. $10 is a lot of money right here. I mean, it's not life-changing money, but you can buy a few things, like a few food items here and there. So you have people, they already done their calculations, so they'll just come to you for $10, knowing you probably won't just send like a $10, because also us being in the diaspora, we have like a bit of pride. Like, we try to act like we're getting money, like we're living a good life when we're really not. Well, at least, not that I do that. I used to, but not anymore. But, it's just how it is. People look up to you like, oh, you're in the States, you're in the UK. So you find yourself sending $15 to $20. So this is like twice what the person asked, and they know that's what you're going to do for the most part. Because in some cases, if you send the actual $10, you might even get to like, yo, you really sent $10, like you could have made it 15. So we end up sending 15 to 20. So that person is most likely going to have a good weekend, some nice drinks, some nice takeout, maybe take their girlfriend down on your account. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, helping family, especially those that were there for you, there's nothing wrong with that. But the issue is that a lot of times we do it to our own detriment. Like your last $100, you find yourself sending 50 or 70 of it back home because you have to take care of your people. But guess what? Us out here in the US, you miss a month of rent. I mean, even back home, I won't say there's no evictions back home, but it's more severe out here, especially if you don't have like that big of a support system. If you get kicked out, where you going? Especially right now, this time of the year, it's winter. You can't afford to not have a roof over your head. Even if worse had to come to worse, sleeping on the streets is not even an option. Back home, people will give you the impression like they're starving, like they're gonna die. But in most cases, that's not even the case, bro. Like, in as much as I've been in the diaspora for a while, I also spent most of my life back home, so I know how it is. But like I said, I'm not speaking for anybody. Other people come from different backgrounds, so I really can't speak on that. But I'm speaking for like myself, and from what I've seen, most of the money that we send back home, it just goes to funding people's like extracurricular activities. It's not even like, they don't even use it like maybe to start a business or to invest in something that will bring more money. It's usually just for consumption. So when you send somebody money for consumption, right? I send you $10 to buy food. That food will last you a couple of days. Next week, what are you going to do? You're going to come back to me. And the cycle repeats itself. And then when you get to a point whereby like, yo, I just sent you money 2 weeks ago, I can't send you money again. Guess what? You might not hear from this person for months. And the next time you hear from them, they'll probably be asking you for money. And if you give them the same answer, you'll go another few months without hearing from them. Like people don't even ask like, yo, how are you doing? How's life out there? How are you getting your money? See, this is one thing people don't understand. Some of the jobs that we do out here are jobs that we didn't even think of or ever imagine doing back home. Like back home, being a driver, you're like at the bottom of the food chain. Women wouldn't look at you, I know for sure, like the type of jobs that we do here back home, we would be ashamed to like even show our face to certain people. And that's the problem with, with Africa. Like out here in the States, trades are very, like you can be an electrician, you can be a plumber, you can be, those are things that are very, that every household needs, right? Every household needs plumbing, every household needs an electrician. But back home, we don't respect those people. Like they're paid peanuts. You just get somebody from the local community that that knows how to play around with electricity or knows how to fix pipes and that kind of stuff. And you give them whatever you have, and they take it. It's not like a career. But out here in the States, for a plumber or an electrician to show up to my door, it's like $120 just to show up. Then after that, you get charged if they do any work. But right off the bat, you have to pay just for them to show up. And so many other trades like carpenters, builders. These are things that every society can't live without. But it's funny how, like in Africa, these are the things that we look down upon. And I think if we're to develop as a continent and as countries, these are things we really need to look at trades and improve and encourage people to pick up a trade. Because not everybody's academically gifted, right? But if you pick up a trade, that's something that you can carry with you for the rest of your life. You can teach your kids, you can teach your grandkids, and you can pass it down. You could be a family of carpenters, a family of builders. You could be a family of stonemasons. You can be a family of painters. You name it, electricians. And all of these things are what builds society, right? But back home, if you're not in white collar, if you don't have a white collar job, you don't have a degree, you might have some challenges going through life. Unless you get lucky, or you're very good at business or whatever it is that you're doing and you succeed. But for the most part, it's go to school, get your degree. So yeah, and so back to the topic of, Africans sending money back home. Out here, a lot of us work two to three jobs. We work 12, 16 hours non-stop. We barely even get time to see each other, to hang out. When we do, it's very limited, like you can't be out all night, and you got to watch the money that you're spending, because the type of work that you put in just to get that kind of money. But when you try to explain, see, another thing is that when people back home, be it Africa, South America, where else? Maybe Southeast Asia, wherever it's considered like third world. When they have problems, they always know that they can pick up the phone or call or WhatsApp their relative in the US, in the UK, in Canada, in Europe. Ask for a couple euros, a couple pounds, a couple dollars, and their problems will be solved, right? But as a diasporan, we really don't have anybody. You can't pick up the phone and call your people back home and say, yo, I need $500. I'm about to get evicted. They'll just look at you like, yo, things are bad here, the economy, the new president is fucking up, the price of everything's just gone up. But meanwhile, in the States, ever since COVID-19, the price of gas has tripled and hasn't gone back down. Half of the workforce in most companies has been laid off and haven't gone back to work. The price of goods, commodities, and services has literally doubled or tripled, and our wages have remained the same. So basically, we're spending more money, but we're making the same money. And it's getting to a point where, like, if you want to live in like a nice neighborhood out here in the US, bro, you're looking at $1,000 to $1,500 in rent. This is in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, where I live, a smaller city. But if you're looking like New York, Miami, LA, where a lot of us Africans, want to come and live when we come here, because we like the good life. You're looking at $3,000 for a studio apartment, just one bedroom. So you're definitely not making that kind of money off one job. You need like 2 to 3 jobs. So when you get into a problem, we really have nobody to call other than our friends and family out here in the diaspora with us, who also are going through the same difficulties and problems. So you most likely won't even get anything from them, because they're like, yo, whatever you're facing, I'm facing too. We're living in the same economy. Or if they give you money, it's a loan. You have to pay back, and most times it's with interest. You just know that's just how the world works. But try telling this story to your people back home. They can't relate. Like, dude, you in the States, you're talking about you're suffering or you're struggling, But guess what? So we find ourselves sending all this money back home constantly, month after month. This one needs that. Oh, this one wants to go to school. Oh, there's a funeral. Oh, somebody's getting married. Oh, somebody's having like a traditional ceremony, like marriage ceremony. Just so many different things, right? And for the most part, I'm happy to contribute whenever I can. Like, I don't feel like nobody can really force me, especially the level that I'm at right now. Nobody can force me to do anything. But to a certain extent, you feel like, if you don't do it, people might start talking negative about you, like, oh, you were helped to get to where you were, and you're like returning the favor. But it gets too much. Like, we're human. We're working like crazy out here. We're working like crazy. It's not like we're working fancy jobs. We're not working in banks or, majority of the diaspora, whether they want to admit it or not, are working like the low-end jobs, the jobs that the Americans or the British, the natives, the indigenous people of the land don't want to do. Those are the jobs that we come to pick up. The only good thing about it is that that dollar or that euro or that pound goes a long way back home, so we're able to like invest back home. So at the end of the day, it makes it worth it. But we also have, where we have so many people in different situations. Some people kind of go back home. Some people, for many reasons, right? Not just having like papers or anything, like even money, the price to just go back home. You only get like a week off work. You're not spending 1,500 on a ticket to go back to Africa just to spend a week. Because if you spend more than that, you come back to no job. You come back to a whole lot of bills. You might come back to an eviction notice. So we tend to stay in these countries for a long time, just trying to find our feet, trying to stack, trying to save, at the same time looking after our people back home. So you find ourselves sending money to buy like maybe a piece of land or to build a house. And then a lot of people, we've heard the stories, nightmares. A lot of people get ripped off. You think you own 10 acres of land. Meanwhile, you own nothing. You think you own a mansion or a couple of apartments. Meanwhile, they sent you pictures of somebody else's, construction project. And you were there thinking, oh yeah, my money is working. By the time you say, okay, you know what, I think I've done enough. I've built a few houses. It's time for me to go back home and just relax and enjoy life. And then you find, and I know people that have gone back home and found nothing, and they just fall into depression, and they can't come back to the UK, can't come back to the States, and that's it. Their lives are just ruined. And these people squander their money. And a lot of these people we send money to, guess what? They're living just as good as us or better than us. Not worse. A lot of them are living better than us because they can go out every weekend, have fun, club, eat out, dress up. But here we don't even have time to dress up. I have a lot of shoes, clothes, but I don't even have time to wear them. So I got to a point where like even buying stuff is pointless because I'm always at work and my job is like a dirty job, So like I'm not taking my nice stuff. So most of my stuff still looks like new, but when people see you post a picture every once in a while, when you get the opportunity to go out, they think, oh yeah, it's really happening. These guys are getting money. Money grows on trees out in the States, but they don't get it. We really have nobody to fall back on. You have to stand because guess what? It's a whole lot of people that are looking up to you. We sometimes we wish we could have somebody to, tell our problems, but people back home can't relate. As soon as you start telling them your problems, it's like a joke to them. Like, yo, if you don't want to be in the States, you come. Let's switch places. They think it's like you're just making shit up. Like, yo, let's trade places. And I encourage a lot of people. Like, yo, come out here. Come see it for yourself. I'd rather you come out here and make your own way than me keep looking out for you. So I always try to help people out or tell them, ways in which they can come abroad, because that way it eases off the pressure off me, and not just me, I'm sure a lot of people feel like that, like, yo, find a way to come out here. Then and as soon as they come out here, a lot of people, they actually come to you and say, you know what, I now understand why you would never send money whenever I ask, or you would never contribute to certain things, because out here every dollar counts. You don't clock in, you don't get paid. Back home, you can miss work for days. You still get your monthly salary. But out here, it doesn't work like that. So yeah, I forget the lady's name, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people have come across her video where she's talking about, sending money back to Africa. I watched that video, and these people make these videos like every year, because it's not the first time. That's not the last time. It's been happening for decades and decades. As soon as you leave Africa to come to the States or the UK or Europe, it's like you go from being a nobody to like a breadwinner. Now everybody's expecting you to pay people's school fees, to pay people's rents, pay hospital bills, take care of people's children. When back home, You're the one that was being taken care of. Like, you move to a new location now, people look at you different. Then people will come to you like, oh, you've changed. You No, I have people. We don't even change. It's how people look at us. It's the people back home that change their perspective of us. So yeah, it's really a challenge. For me, I feel like the less people I talk to, the better. Which sometimes is like sad, because you want to talk, you want to, keep in touch with your people. But if every time you have a conversation with somebody and before it even goes anywhere, they're already asking you for money, you feel like, no, I don't want to connect. I don't want to talk, because it's like I have to buy. I'm paying for a conversation. I might as well go to a female who's charging me to talk to her. Like, yo, here's $20. Let's talk. I need some company. I feel like my family should be there for me, regardless of if I'm flashing out dollars or not. And even if you want to get something done back home, and like I said, I'm not mentioning anybody's name. This is not directed to anybody specific. But whoever sees this and feels some type of way, hey, it is what it is. I'm just speaking my truth, right? Even to get things done back home, somebody just can't drive their vehicle and use their fuel to go check on something for you. You have to send gas money and maybe lunch money also, and maybe alcohol money if they drink. Like somebody just can't get up and go check on your plot or go check on your construction or your business. You have to pay out. But you find this person might be your closest relative, closest friend. And whenever they come to you with an issue or problem, you don't hesitate. I have World Remit and Remitly. I get on those apps very quick. Within minutes, money will be in any family members or friends, or close friends, mobile money account. I just go on there, I have their name saved, put in the amount, and that's it. But I feel like it's not reciprocated. Like, when you want to get stuff done, it feels like nothing is going to move until you send some money. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that. Nothing really moves back home until you send some money. Nobody cares about you. Nobody wants to talk to you if you're not sending any money. Me, I've heard stories about people saying, oh, he doesn't send anything for us, or he doesn't do this for us. But hey, if only they do the kind of lives that we live. We also just trying to survive. We just on a different side of the planet. But that doesn't mean that it's one thing if I come to the States and I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Or even tens of thousands of dollars a month. Yeah, I have it. I have it to give, right? Or to help. But in most cases, very few of us are making that kind of money. We're making minimum wage or close to that, And we're just trying to survive. We're trying to pay bills here and also thinking about investing back home. And investing back home is not cheap either. Building is not cheap. Buying land is not cheap. Because one thing that I can guarantee you, most of these people that you're taking care of back home, that you send money back home, if something happened, God forbid, like if you got sick or you got deported, or you just decided to go back home and you really didn't invest back home, no house, no land, no business, guess what? These people are going to remind you of how you were in the States, how you had this great opportunity and you didn't make the most of it. And then you're going to be following people around begging. And then it's going to frustrate you. A lot of people get depressed. Some people even, just call it quits, like just sign out. Because you start thinking about the life that you were living in the States, at least you were getting by. And as much as it may have been a struggle, but you were getting by. You could get the latest phone, you could get a car on loan, you can get a house on mortgage, just things that are more accessible. Then you go back home, you were funding people's lifestyles, then you find these people have built houses. These people are driving cars, and mind you, everybody in Africa who drives a car or owns a house, for the most part, owns it. Us out here, it's loans. People with nice cars in the States, it's a loan. People are paying for that for like 10 years, 10, 15 years. Houses. You can see people living in nice houses. It's a mortgage. 30, I hear now they're even introducing 40-year mortgages. But everybody I know back home who has their own house, they built it from scratch or they bought it and they own it. Nobody's coming to take it away from them. But you find yourself sending these people money still. You know, they're telling you they're struggling. Meanwhile, you're out here renting, and you can't miss here. If you miss even just one day, you pay. When you decide to pay your rent, you have to pay the late fee. And if you go like a week or two, that's an eviction. And it's just how it is. So yeah, a lot of people back home don't understand it. And I feel like we've tried our best to make them understand. And they will never be able to understand until they come here and experience it for themselves. So in closing, I think what I can say is, for anybody in the diaspora, let's guard our resources, you know. Do for yourself first. Before you build anybody a house, build yourself a house. Before you do anything significant for anybody, do it for yourself. Because at the end of the day, everybody looks out for themselves, regardless of who it is. No matter how close you are. I've heard stories of, you know, somebody taking care of sending their mother money or their father money, and they to build a house. Meanwhile, the parents are spending it on other things or spending it on their siblings. Then you go back home and you find your siblings are all situated. They've got houses, they're married, they're having all these kids, which you're paying for and funding their lifestyles. Meanwhile, you in the diaspora are even afraid to have a kid. You know, even afraid to get a luxury car or get a nice house because you can't afford it. You know, the money is tight, you have to budget. But people back home, they don't really work on a budget. You know, they will spend that $100 that you send them like it's nothing. In a few days, they'll be back like, yo. And if you don't, some of them even get mad, which is that, you know, entitlement. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it, my thoughts on it. I can relate, and I know a lot of people in the diaspora, being from the Caribbean, you know, from Africa, Asia, anywhere in the world. Anybody that has moved to a so-called better place for a better life, I know you can relate. These are the things that we go through. So like, we also need, you know, somebody that we can fall back on. You know, we need that support, but unfortunately we don't have. So in most cases we don't have. Some people are lucky they do. Yeah, we have family within the diaspora, but like, you're all going through the same struggle. So it's, how are you even going to get up and go ask your brother or your cousin that's with you in the States or the UK that's also going through the same thing as you? They'll just tell you like, bro, I'm going through the same thing. You know, it's hard for me. I'm trying to find rent money also. So we really have nobody to go to but just work, get another job, get an extra job, do something on the side, you know. Barely have time to live. A lot of us, we live a life of just work, send money back home, try to invest, build, and then maybe when we're like 40 or 50, we go back home. But who even knows if we're going to make it to that age, you know? You know, God forbid anything happens to any of us before we get to enjoy the fruits of our labor, but it's life. These things do happen, you know. Half of us won't get to experience or to enjoy the fruits of our labor, which is sad. And then a bunch of people that don't even know what you went through will be fighting for your assets. You know, they'll just misappropriate your funds, and who knows what will happen. So yeah, all I can say is like, us people in the diaspora right now, the whole world is fucked up. The economy in the States is as bad as anywhere else. In fact, recession here is at the highest. It's bad in Africa, it's bad in Latin America, South America, it's bad in Australia, it's bad in the UK, Europe, it's Russia, it's rough everywhere. So, you know, take care of yourself first. You can give, you can help, you should help. I encourage anybody to help out their family members, especially those that made it possible for you to be where you are. But don't do it at your own detriment. Don't do it at your own downfall. If you don't have, you don't have. Don't be afraid to say no. If somebody hates you for saying no or for not giving them a couple dollars, they never loved you in the first place. Just move on with your life, at least, and be thankful that they've shown you their true colors. So just keep it pushing. Because guess what? You know the funny thing about people? They'll hate you today, right? They'll stop talking to you, but once they hear that, oh, you're successful now. You maybe you made a couple $1,000,000, a couple million pounds, a few 100,000 euros. Guess what? They'll be on your WhatsApp like, hey bro, hey sis, hey mom, hey dad, hey uncle, hey auntie, hey nephew, hey niece. It's been a long time. I miss you. Oh, how you doing? They're all gonna make their way back to you. So don't even worry. Like people that remove themselves. For me personally, I've lost a lot of friends, and I've had to tell a lot of friends like, yo, we're friends, bro. But when we were back home, we never used to ask each other for money. We just used to hang out. If you had money, you would spend, and we would have a good time. If I had money, I would spend. We would buy alcohol. We would drink. But let's not make our friendship based on money, right? You know, and a lot of guys have fallen off. We don't talk anymore, but it's all good. You know, I've moved on, bro. I haven't seen a lot of these people for like 10 plus years. So, hey, it is what it is. You know, for me, I'm just focused on doing what I can do for me, my wife, my future kids, you know, and my close family and some close friends, people that I value in my life. You know, I always come through. For me, I'm one person who always vows like I'm done sending money to Africa, but I always find myself every now and then. But I have a limit, you know, and everybody should, you know, don't kill yourself. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Let anybody say whatever they want to say. Let anybody think whatever they want to think. As long as you're taking care of yourself, that's all that matters. Because, hey, as long as we all have our lives to live, right? We all have our lives to live. So, yeah, make the most of it. Because you don't want to be that person when you're 50, 60 years old. Then and you're living a life of regret of how you didn't take the opportunities. You know, in life we have windows. You might have a window like to buy land, like yo, you're getting some money, like buy some land. You might have a window to build, start a business, get an education, your further education, do it. You know, don't waste time. You have fun also at the same time, because life is not just about working. You know, you also have to play, travel. You know, so for me, I intend to travel more with my wife, you know, with family and friends, my brothers and friends, and just create memories that will last, you know, because you never know what tomorrow brings. Life is short. So, yeah, I just thought, you know, I share my thoughts on this topic since it's a trending topic. Once again, like I said, it trends almost every year because it's something that has been happening for a long time, and it will keep happening until you put your foot down. You let people know, like, yo, this is my limit. This is all I can do for you. Like, if I give you money this month, I don't expect you to come back this same month to ask me for some more money, because you're already, and you're not even the only person. You know, we have at any given time we have like 5 to 10 different people that are asking for help, you know. So if I'm just pouring into this one person, when will I be able to help out the next person? I have to, like, the little that I have, the extra that I have to spread it out amongst different people, and also on myself. So yeah, diaspora, everybody in the diaspora, just stay up. Let's keep working hard. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep investing back home. Yeah, and hopefully we could all get to where we want to be and succeed. Peace.